Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Stay Afraid podcast, episode 7. I'm Zander with my co host Riley here.
Hello.
Today's episode, we're actually going to be covering Evil Dead, the 2013 remake, which I had thought I had never seen until today, and then I turned it on and I was like, wait a minute, I think I've seen this. Um, with that being said, I didn't remember like that much, like everything about it. I only remembered certain parts. It was weird. Like I must have saw it when it like first came out because I was only like 10 when this first came out. So that would make sense why I only remember parts of it.
Yeah, I think I saw it when it first came out as well. I was 14 though, but I saw it in theaters.
This would have been a cool one to see in theaters, I feel like. Just all the blood and gore.
Right. I don't remember it super well,
Yeah.
so I can't say if it was or wasn't, but
Yeah, the part where I first remembered that I was like, wait a minute, I think I've seen this was like pretty early on when like they're talking about how what's her name? The the sister, she is her name Mia?
yes.
She's They're just talking about how they like went up to like this cabin to like so she could like sober up, and I was like, oh wait, I think I've seen this. But that's not even how the movie starts. The movie starts with this other girl.
Yeah,
She's
right.
Yeah, she's like
And
running through the woods or walking through, I guess.
and I do think that like some modern horror movies, that's kind of their biggest problem is they want to build everything up and all that stuff, which I totally get. But then it's like half hour into the movie or more, and you're like, nothing has happened at all.
That's
Um,
that's kind of like, not that like Fresh was bad, but like that's kind of Fresh was. Like it took a while to like get into it, and then like the 25-minute like intro scene, and then this one has like a 5-minute little thing. They're just different.
right? Yes. And literally the first 5 minutes of this movie is just like chaos, and
Yeah.
then they like light the girl on fire. Um,
Yeah.
so overall, even though you had already seen it, what are your thoughts on the movie then? Like, did you like it?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, this is after watching it again or for the first time fully, I don't even know. It's definitely one of my favorite horror remakes. And I even am probably going to go as far to say as I like it either on par or more than the original Evil Dead.
I think the best decision they made with this one was the fact that, when you make like these remakes or reboots and stuff, you either try and make the same exact movie, but it looks a little bit nicer, better CGI and stuff, and you're almost bound to like not do it as well as the original director because there's like a reason the movie became famous. Or you do it the way that they did this movie, which was like, let's call it the same thing and basically change like the tone of the
Mhm.
movie. Like it feels way different than like every everything Evil Dead before this.
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like an Evil. I mean, it does feel like an Evil Dead movie, but it's not really super similar to the original. Like they're very different movies, which is exciting for a remake because you don't see that super often.
Yeah, I agree. And like I don't know, they took obviously a different approach. I feel like all the original Evil Dead movies and then the TV show especially is just it's not supposed to be horror, right? Like I would say the main thing for those movies and the TV show is like comedy, and this one is
Yeah.
not funny.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely. Yeah, for sure. I remember watching Evil Dead 2 as a kid a lot, and I remember that one being pretty funny. But yeah, this one, I mean, I don't think there's even like a single scene that I was like, wow, that's funny. Everything's kind of sad or just death. So,
yeah, like I can't recall any time where they were like, "All right, let's break this up with a joke or something."
yeah, that never really happens in this movie. But that's fine. It goes well with
Right.
it. But yeah, it just starts off right away where this girl is like getting attacked by these like two random guys, and then like she gets knocked out with a gun by one of them, and then like she wakes up tied to a pole, and then her dad's like, "Hi," and she's like, "Where's mom?" And he's like, "You killed mom," and then he lights her on fire, and that's the
Yep,
intro scene.
right when she goes like full exorcist
Oh
on
yeah,
him.
yeah, yeah. She does. She's like, I don't even know what she says.
So of course, I guess my only kind of like thing that makes me roll my eyes about this movie is just like every other horror movie that involves a cabin in the woods is like, where is this cabin located? Like
Hmm.
some private road that you have all by yourself for like 4 miles, and it's just away from all civilization.
Yeah, it's definitely odd, and it's kind of funny because I never really had like a cabin I went to when I was younger, or like anything like that my family owned. But like my friend, one of my best friends, always said like, "Hey, do you want to come up with my cabin to me?" And I was like, "Not really. Like I've seen Evil Dead. I don't want to be stranded out there alone." But like cabins aren't like that. You're usually like with a bunch of like other cabins, so it's just funny, I guess. But yeah, that thing that was kind of weird. Like, and then do they show them? They don't really show them driving to it. So when like later in the movie when they go to leave and then like this creek is like full of water, I was like, "There's no other way out of here."
Right? Yeah, it literally cuts to their Jeep driving down the road, and then it very briefly shows them driving across that creek. And
Okay, because I must
so,
have just
like,
not been paying attention. But
it is literally, it's like a 30-second shot. So,
okay, because I was like, what? How is there no other way to get out of here? That doesn't make sense. But yeah, who knows where this cabin is? I don't know.
and so I get that their reasoning for, because basically every horror movie, you either have to place it in like the 90s or earlier so no one has cell phones, or you have to
Hmm.
find some reason that they don't use their cell phones. And for this one, a lot of it was about like her like recovering heroin addiction, and so that's why they're out in this.
Is so is that what year does this take place? Because I took it as this was like a older time, but I guess not. I guess that
I
makes
think they make sure to not say.
I think so too. Because they don't whip out cell phones at all in this.
No, they
Which
they do not.
which is why I originally was like, oh, this just probably takes place at the same time that the original Evil Dead took, is what I figured.
I literally could not figure that out myself
But it
either.
really could be any time because you're right. Like they could have just been like, oh yeah, don't bring phones because she's recovering from her addiction, so we don't need phones. But I don't know. I
Well, I
feel
think I think she grabs like her cell phone at one point.
oh
I'm pretty sure because she like goes outside in the beginning of the movie when she's having like withdrawals and stuff, and they've just discovered the book, and she goes outside and she like sees the like demon lady walking around in the woods, and she
yeah,
comes in and she starts grabbing your stuff, and I'm fairly certain that there is like a cell phone in there, but it's not like an iPhone or anything,
it's
because
so
the movie was in 2013, but
yeah. So it's not like super modern, but like I don't because they literally don't mention phones. They don't. It is super odd how like you literally can't tell what time this takes place. But that's like I like when movies do that because like it doesn't matter. But
it has to be like the easiest way to write these movies and direct them as well, because then you don't need like scenes explaining what
mhm.
happened to everyone's phone and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
because nowadays it's so easy to survive horror movies because you can just call whoever. So now the movie's got to be like we got to make it hard for them. They can't just call the police. But yeah,
Yep, exactly.
that would have been annoying if they're like, "Oh my god, I have no signal." Oh, shocker. Shocker. All right, I'm actually going to the scene where she goes outside and the guy's looking at the book. This is a little farther ahead than we were, but I'm actually curious now to see if she had a phone.
Well, I don't think much happens in between anyway. They basically
Yeah.
just wander around this cabin and you get introduced to all the characters and how they're related to everyone. So there's like the couple, the brothers there with her, whatever. They make sure to touch on like, oh, they don't talk to each other a lot.
Yeah, yeah. It was at first like, so there's how many people even at the cabin? Five.
I think so because it's
The guy, his
what?
girlfriend, and then like, are they like friends with these other people? Like they used to be friends, I think.
Yes, that's how I took it at least.
Yeah. So and then there's the guy's sister. The guy's name is David, I want to say, and
Yes,
the
to
sister's Mia.
Mia, David, Olivia, Eric, and Natalie is what
Yes.
IMDb has. So yep.
Yes. Yeah. And then so the David's girlfriend is Natalie, I remember, and everyone else kind of fits themselves in. But yeah, I didn't. I'm watching it. You can't really see what she's grabbing. I'm sure, like if you were paying enough attention, you could. It's kind of hard to see.
Right. That's why
But
I'm like I'm not for sure
yeah, who
it's a phone
knows?
either, but
But yeah, so yeah, we meet our main characters. I'm trying to just see here. Nothing else really happens, you're right, until this scene where like they're just kind of like fixing up the cabin because oh yeah, they go in there and it's like someone like broke in, right? And like it's just really dirty and stuff.
yeah, and that's where they find the book. And like, I know I'm a huge bitch, but if my friend is like, let's open up this book that is literally burnt to shit, covered in barbed wire, and then like there's a whole bunch
But
of like demon stuff inside
not
of it.
only that, but like there's dead cats like surrounding this book and stuff. Like it wasn't just like they found the book. Like it
Y-
was like a
Right?
disgusting basement. There's blood coming from it, or like the cellar. Sorry, I'm not even going down in the cellar. Like we can just leave right then and go stay somewhere else to do this. That's where I'm at.
Like, it's not a nice cabin either. I don't know. That definitely is like, no way. I wouldn't sleep in that cabin if it didn't have a basement. I'd be like,
Yeah,
nah, I'm good.
exactly. So like the fact that this guy just opens up the book and he's like, "All right, let's start reading stuff," even though it says don't read anything. Because doesn't
Exactly.
it say on it like don't say these words or something?
Yeah, it's like, don't read this book.
Yeah, stupid, just stupid people. But that's what happens in horror movies. And yeah, so he says all the words that like you're not supposed to say, and then like the girl just like is outside. The Mia's outside, and she just like vomits, and then she like sees like something, right? She like sees like the demon's face.
Yeah, there's like the demon like standing outside or whatever. So she gets in the car and she's like, I'm out of here. Just leaves all of her friends. And
Yeah,
at this point, that's when the rain starts.
yeah, it's like pouring. That's not another thing with this movie is like a lot of slashers, like in horror in general, like aren't actually scary or like unsettling anymore. But this movie was like actually kind of creepy. I felt.
Oh, definitely. And yeah, like she crashes the car there, like in the water.
Yep. Yeah.
Um, and this is like when she gets possessed or whatever. When she gets out, and yeah, they have like the like slimy black demon. It basically looks like a giant leech, just like go up her vagina, just
Dude.
slurps up there. And I was like, oh god, this is rough.
So wasn't this? I could be wrong because I haven't seen the original Evil Dead in a while. But didn't they do that in the original and people got extremely upset that they had like a tree like rape the girl? Wasn't that like a whole thing, or was that for this movie that people were upset about it?
It might have been this movie. Um, I have not seen the original Evil Dead in a very long
Yeah,
time
it's
either.
been a long time. So I remember something, and I was like, so that's why I was like shocked that they did it in this one. So maybe it was just this one, but I know people weren't happy. But it was like it is kind of weird. Like they could have like made it go like in her mouth or something. Like cuz it's like showing that she's being possessed, but I don't know why I had to go that way. Maybe just to make it even creepier or weirder, I guess.
Right. I do
So I
think
guess
that
it
like
makes sense.
that and like I've always gotten the vibe that like possession stuff, whether you look at it like quote real possessions,
Mhm.
um, or versus a lot of movies and just general media stuff, it always has like a weird sexual undertone, and I don't
Yeah.
know like where that came from necessarily. but I don't know if they just kind of like leaned into it with this one.
That just goes for like all horror. Like there's always just a
Oh,
sexual tone.
definitely, definitely.
But yeah, so she gets possessed by this. I don't even understand what it was. Like this black vine spirit demon thing just goes up her, and then we cut to her. No, not her. We cut to her brother, David, looking for her with the other girl, right?
Yes.
And then they find her by this tree, and then they get her back to the cabin, I think. And this girl's a nurse. What's this girl's name? You said Olivia. Is that her name?
Which
Yeah,
girl?
Olivia. It's the nurse one. So not
Okay.
the yeah. So she's the one that's I don't know. Are her and Eric together? Are they like a? I don't know if they're like in a relationship or not.
I think so.
I don't know if they ever really say, but either way, yeah, she's like a nurse, and this was another problem I had with the movie is why did she just have all these like sedatives and other medical things? Like I guess she's a nurse, but like can she just like take those from the hospital?
No, that's definitely illegal.
So that's why I was like, why does she have all this stuff? Like she didn't just have a little bit; she had a lot. Like it was used multiple times. This like sedatives and these painkillers, I think, like a bunch of stuff. It was weird, but either way, she's like helping out and like, yeah, it's just. Is this the part where she says like, we don't need to take her to a hospital? I'm doing as much as the hospital would do. Is that what she says here?
Yes, which is also like
Also,
now I will say since like graduating high school and stuff, I've seen like the pipeline of some people that have become registered nurses, and it does scare me a little bit. But still, as a general rule of thumb, I seem to think of nurses as like good people,
mm-hmm.
and I hope to God that actual nurses would be like, yeah, since she's a recovering addict, like maybe we should, do something serious instead of just drugging her with different drugs at a
Dude,
random ass
I didn't even
cabin,
think about that. I didn't realize that they were giving these drugs to a girl who's literally an addict. How did I not think of that? That makes this way worse.
right?
Yeah, this girl is not a good nurse or person. I don't know like which one it is. Like, are you a bad person? Are you a bad nurse? Are you not smart? Like, what's the deal here?
Yeah, like a little bit of both.
But then, anyway, David goes into the room to like talk to his sister and be like, "Yo, how you doing?" And she's like, "There's someone in the woods," and then they're in the room with us, and he's like, "Okay, bye." He doesn't really say anything to it. He just leaves,
Right.
and she's like freaking out, and then after that, what even happens after that? The guy's just looking through the book again, and oh yeah,
Um,
that's in the book. We see like what happened, like how she's like tied up on the tree, like that's in the book as well.
yes. And so I did a quick Google search, and yes, the original Evil Dead had a tree rape scene.
Yes, okay, so that's
So,
people were. I remember people didn't like that, but like obviously that was a long time ago. When did the movie come out?
yeah,
Like 81 or something. I have no idea when the original Evil Dead came out.
80 something, it might have been 84 or something.
Yeah, either way, so people didn't like that then. Oh, it was 81, but
Nice.
so they did it again. And they're like, just do it again. They were like, out of all the parts in the movie they wanted to keep, that was it. That was the part they wanted.
Right. And I think the bigger issue that people like had with the original and this movie is that, she comes back and she's like, "Hey, I, I basically got like raped by nature." And like everyone's like, "Ugh, drama queen." Again, I, I'm a massive pussy, but
Yeah.
if someone comes back and anything happened in the woods, I would immediately be like, "I can go back home. Like I'm cool with that. We can leave,
Like
dude."
it's not like you're staying in like a nice place. Like no, we're having fun. We can't leave. You're in like a shithole. Like you're in like this disgusting cabin. Why would you want to stay after all this stuff is happening?
literally. And then it gets like, uh, even worse because yes, he leaves the room and um, like the friend is researching the book, I guess, trying to uh, like decipher everything
Hmm.
that's in there, and it shows Mia in the shower, and I'm like, dude, literally, how old is this cabin? Because like, I guess before the shower they find the dead
That's
dog,
what I was
and
gonna say. Yeah,
that's kind of relevant. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
we didn't even mention there's a dog with them, and because you don't really see the dog too much, but then yeah, the dog dies, which was like the dog was still whining when he found it, and then it was dead when he got it in his arms, and I was like, that's kind of weird, but that was kind of sad, and that's
Right,
like
and
the
then there,
the only part where I feel bad for anyone is the dog.
well, and then like there's that hammer there, right? And so he,
Yeah.
I guess it is implied, but he also like thinks that Mia just went to town attacking the dog and killing it. So again, this is another time where like if you really think that, you need to get out of there, dude. Like even if you know, you're like I'm being rational, it's just the drug withdrawals. Like if that's driving someone to just beat a dog's skull in with a
Yeah,
hammer,
that's another
you should,
problem. Like that's a separate issue. Like y'all gotta,
yeah,
but you can't just be like, "Yo, why'd you kill my dog?" Like, what do you think's gonna happen?
right.
So yeah, now is the shower scene, and this scene was awesome. If you want to continue explaining it.
Well, yes. So he's trying to bust in there because he's like, "You just fucking killed my dog." Goes in there. She's cranked the shower as hot as it can get, and it like what like malfunctions and gets super hot because the thing catches on fire, like the water heater that's in there.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, it just burns the shit out of her. And yes, this is like, oh, her like cheek skin like pops open when it shows her. Oh god, burns are
yeah. It looks
disgusting,
it
dude.
looks like they did such a good job. Like they did a lot of practical effects in this movie. I read just because they wanted that to be like the original did a lot of practical, which obviously it did because it was made in the 80s, but like that was like a big thing I guess back then that they were doing those. So I was reading that they wanted to like keep it true and like do a lot of practical effects in this, and it just looks
Nasty.
gross. It looks
Yep.
gross. And he's like trying to like touch the shower to turn it off, and everyone's like, "What the fuck? Why did she just do that?" And then they're finally like, "All right, let's go. Let's leave."
Yep. And of course, that's when the water is just too high. So now they're stuck there.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, which like unlucky, dude, that it has now started to rain that hard. And of course, so it cuts to the cabin at night, and the rain has stopped, which cracked me up. I was like, well,
wait, does it?
yeah. Like right after it goes from them in the jeep, his sister's like drooling
Vomiting, yeah.
vomit and like covered in third
Pus
degree
and
burns
yeah,
and shit.
yeah, awesome. Yeah, okay, and then after that, hold up. Yeah, so like they see they can't get out of there, and they get back to the cabin, and they're like, "What do we do?" Like, and the guy's just like, "We just gotta wait till it's done raining, and then we'll go." And then what's this guy's name? Like, Eric? Is that the teacher dude's name?
Yes, yep. And
He's
then of
like,
course,
oh yeah.
also the nurse, when she was like, I gave her sedatives, like she's knocked out. She'll be out for hours.
Yeah, yeah. And then yeah, so the wait, no, maybe Eric doesn't even say nothing. Yeah, I thought this was the part where he's like, "Yo, this is weird. Like, this is like not normal." I think he does say something like, "Not everything's gonna be all right. Like, this is bad," and everyone's like, "No, no." And then this is the part where Mia just gets up and she's like walking into the room with everyone with a shotgun in her
With
hand,
the shotgun.
and they just like stand there and like, "Hey, maybe you should put the gun down."
Yup. As she slowly raises it, blasts her own brother right in the arm with a shotgun.
Yeah, I was not expecting that. I was like, dang, she actually just shot him. Like, how bad did it hit him? I don't think it was that bad. I think it just grazed
It
his arm, right?
Yeah, yup. It just like takes out his arm a little bit. And that's when like the wind starts blowing and the windows get like blown out and stuff.
This is where
Um,
I'm confused, where they weren't like, not all of them understood that there was like demon shit going on. They didn't understand that yet. They were still like the brother, especially David. He was just like, well, she's just, like withdrawals. It's hard. And like later on, he says that. And I'm like, bro, how do you not realize there's a demon? She even says like, you're all going to die tonight in like the demon voice. So like, that was kind of weird to me.
right, even right after the shotgun scene, she like pukes blood
Yeah,
all
that's not
over.
normal.
Yeah, all over Olivia.
Yeah, that was gross. And there's like, not, it wasn't just blood. Like there was stuff in it.
Oh yeah, yeah. That was
That was pretty gross.
nasty.
That part was pretty nasty. And then David's like, go get more sedatives. And like they
Literally.
try and knock her out again or something. Yeah, so she just pukes in Olivia's mouth, but it's blood. And then they lock her in the cellar, right?
Yes, and lock her in the cellar. Uh, and that's when Olivia starts to go a little crazy.
Yeah, which at first I was like, I think she's just a little freaked out because she got puked on. But then no, she starts getting real crazy, and she's like, what even happens? She's like
Um,
in the bathroom about to grab the drugs because of course they needed more drugs for Mia. And then what? That's when she starts like she like looked in the mirror and then like her face was in the mirror but it's like half cut off, right?
yep,
And then she goes and sees the book's flipping pages on its own, and then there's like a picture of a person with a knife in their face in their hand and their face is cut off. And then that's when like she like freezes up and then she's like possessed, I assume.
yep. Pisses herself.
Oh yeah,
Fucking
can't
again.
forget
Just
that.
God, the movie's so gross,
They
dude.
just love to make every scene as gross as possible,
Oh,
which is like that's fine. It makes it even creepier
right.
and
Oh,
grosser. It just adds to it.
definitely.
But
So then
then,
Eric goes to look for her. He's
hmm
like, "What's taking her so long in the bathroom?"
yeah, and he walks in. Right, he walks in and what does he see?
He like turns
Eric.
on the light, and because the mirror had broken earlier, that's like what she's using to basically cut her cheeks off.
Yeah, like the lights are flickering, and then like he opens the shower curtain or something, and then she like looks up, and her face is like gone. It looks so
Oh,
good. It looks so good. It's so
dude,
gross.
it really is.
And then he
Like,
slips on her skin, right? And hits his back on the
oh,
toilet.
yep,
That was
like
kind of funny. That's the one funny scene. There we go.
true. Yes, her chunk of cheek just chilling on the ground.
Yeah, and then she stabs him with the glass in the chest. And then she grabs the drugs,
Yeah, the needle and just starts stabbing like
stabbing
all
him in
over his
his
face.
face. Yeah.
Oh,
And the needle gets stuck in like right under his eye. I don't know. This man went through the most, I think. I think this guy like got the worst of this. Cuz like I
I
can't
I would agree.
because like I mean, she did too, but like she was already possessed by the time like she was cutting herself. And Mia was possessed like the whole time when things were happening. David gets shot, but I honestly think that's it until later. This guy gets messed up. Like he's getting stabbed.
Oh, literally, and like yeah, Eric is just raw dogging this whole thing. Like
Yeah.
he's not possessed or anything as he gets stabbed in the chest, stabbed in the face.
And then has to kill his own girlfriend slash friend. We don't know.
Right.
With the
So yeah.
toilet. With the part of the toilet. It just smashes her head in. That was pretty gross too. But it's just everything looks so well. Like so well done.
Oh,
So that's our first death besides the dog, right? Is
yep.
Olivia, the nurse. The sucky nurse who stole drugs or whatever. But then they start like
Yes.
they're pulling like the glass out of Eric and like trying to like fix him up before like he dies.
Yeah. Out like in the sketchy ass shed.
Yeah, the super sketchy shed. And then
Uh,
David's like, "Yo, Natalie, go get some like water and sugar." I think he says.
yeah. And this is finally when Eric's like, "Hey, by the way, I basically summoned a demon with this scary ass book we found."
And David still doesn't believe him. Like he doesn't get it. This guy is like hellbent on not believing that there's demons. Which like, in all honesty, I'm I don't believe in all that stuff. But like if this is happening, like this is happening to you, like come on, bro. You
Oh,
gotta.
dude, I would be a little suspicious the minute my sister came in after the whole tree thing, but then like when she walks out with the shotgun, shoots the shotgun, and then the wind blows so hard that it blows open the windows. Like, no, dude, nope.
That's
I
what I'm saying. Like obviously, like something's happening. And then yeah, so Eric's like, "Yo,
yeah,
I
at
did
that
this.
point,
My bad."
yeah, like I'm praying to every god out there, dude. I don't care.
Yep. Yep.
Like, uh,
Yep.
uh.
I'm with you.
So then it cuts away from the shed. And it's Natalie back in the house, and of course that's when the cellar door opens.
Yeah, she just walks in and the cellar door is, or she like, does she walk by it and it's closed, and then she comes back and it's open, or does it just open?
It's open when it like opens when she's in the bathroom
Okay.
grabbing stuff.
Yeah, cause no, she's in the
Or kitchen
yeah,
grabbing
she's in the
stuff.
kitchen
Yes,
like
yep, yep,
I
yep.
don't know what she's doing, and then she like turns around and Mia's like, "Yo, why are you? What's happening? Like I'm hurt. Can you come help me?" But like in her own voice. And so Nadia's like, "Yeah, sure, dude. You just tried to kill my
Yep.
boyfriend. I'll go downstairs and help you." And then she doesn't realize that like things are bad until Mia starts speaking in her demon voice. She's like, "Wait, this is kind of weird." So she starts to like go upstairs and breaks the stairs, and she like gets up, and then she gets pulled down to the cellar. And then while she's down there, there's some weird stuff happening while she's down there, is all I'm gonna say.
Yeah,
That's
with
all.
Mia like licking her
Licking her
thighs.
thighs.
Oh,
Like, what the fuck? Like, why? And then she says some pretty gnarly stuff, too. After David comes and saves Natalie, which I was shocked. She lived after being down there and getting licked and
right.
stuff.
Well, like, dude, and Mia grabs the box cutter and slices her tongue in half, and that might
Yeah,
be the nastiest part of
just
the
for
movie to
fun.
me.
Just
Like,
cuz. Yeah, it was
oh,
like she doesn't even like it's just weird. Like she's like licking it and that's what it's weird. It's you don't ever see that.
right. And then that's when she like uh kisses Natalie. So that's of course when Natalie gets all the blood put in her and is now possessed as well.
Mhm.
Um, but she gets kind of saved, a little too late. But
Yeah, just a tad too late. David was just he just had to take his time and then he gets there and helps her out. I want to remember what she says. What does she say to them? Cuz it's like
oh, so when he opens it and saves Natalie, she's like, "Why don't you come down here so I can suck your cock, pretty boy?" And then he's like, "Mia." And it's like, "Mia's not here, you fucking idiot." And he's still just like staring, like,
and
hmm.
then she said your little sister's being raped in hell.
Yep.
And then he's like, "All right, now I'll close the cellar back up."
Right, like maybe we should nail this shut.
I feel like David is so stupid as the main character.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, so like this demon's like I like it. I like whatever it is. It's cool. It's gross. Like he just says whatever. But then yeah, then they just sit there, right? Natalie and David, right next to the
For
cellar.
Yep, for a minute, and then it cuts back to the shed.
Oh yeah, and Eric. Oh yeah, Eric's like, "I'm gonna burn this book," and it doesn't burn.
Yep.
And then after, oh yeah, they have like a nice talk about everything and how like this is where they go over how the three different ways you can kill the demon, correct?
Yeah, and he's just basically talking about all of it. Like once he feasts on the five souls, blah 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 blah.
Yeah, that's a pretty big part. Is like once the five souls are feasted on, then the demon like comes and like is his own thing. Is that what it is? Or like it starts raining blood or something like that. It's like something big happens. But
The
then
abomination will rise
yeah.
from hell is like the exact line.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. And but like then they like talk about like the three ways to kill it are like bury it alive, burn it, or cut its limbs off or something.
Yeah.
I didn't really understand the one where like all the limbs were cut off. I didn't like what do you even whatever. But those are the three options that they got. And then we cut back to Natalie, who's that's her name, right? I'm not messing that up.
Yes, Natalie.
Yeah, she's like looking at the bite because she got bit on her hand.
That's really gross too.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't handle things like coming out of like holes very well. Like,
Yeah,
oh,
especially when there's like a bunch of the holes and they're like just nasty. Yeah, it's not you. Yeah, like the blood is that what it is? Like blood just coming out, but it's like really like thick and in like pieces is weird. But then yeah,
yes,
it's all gross. And then we cut.
right.
Oh yeah, they're
Tri-
still talking about the.
that's called trypophobia. Is an aversion to the sight of irregular patterns or clusters of small holes or
Yeah,
bumps. Yeah, like,
not a fan of it.
oh, it is really interesting how like the human brain.
Yeah, like why does that mess with me? Like why does that?
Right. It collectively messes with people so much that there's a name for it.
Yeah, that's so weird. That's such an odd little thing. But then yeah, her hand starts like morphing and like there's clearly like something like in it like infecting her and she like is like, "Oh shit, this ain't good."
Right.
So she's like, "I got to do something about this." And she cuts it off. She cuts her hand off. Her arm, not just her
Oh.
hand, not just her hand. But then Mia,
Oh.
the Mia, quote unquote Mia, she's like, "Don't do it." But was she just saying that because like just to mess with her?
I think she was saying the opposite. She was like, right? Oh no, you're right. You're right. She says don't do
So
it.
I wonder if that was like to like mess with her to like get her to do it just cuz or was it like she actually didn't want her to do it cuz she actually thought the infection would stop. I'm
Well,
curious.
so I'm trying to think. Oh, so she cuts her
Yeah,
arm off.
I also just got to the part where she puts it into her skin and she's cutting it off.
Yeah, so they walk back
Oh,
in,
so
Eric
much
and
blood.
David, and
Oh, but the
he's like,
power goes out.
so there it is. Yes, if you look at her arm, and I hope that this is intentional, when it's just hanging by like a single tendon there,
Yeah,
her
yeah.
arm, her arm doesn't actually look different. Her arm's totally normal. So I took that as like she was imagining it, right? Or like the demon was like forcing her to see her arm is messed up, but it's
Oh,
it's
you're
not
right.
actually.
You're right. It does look normal. And
Yeah,
I think you're right. Because she just literally cut her arm off. And then, yeah, the demon starts laughing. So, yeah, you're right. You're 100% right about that. Yeah, that scene was so cool when her arm just, like, falls off because it was
flops
barely
off.
hanging.
Ugh.
Yeah, this movie's really. I love this movie. It's so good. But then, yeah, they were like, all right, let's fix you up. But she was like, I had to cut it off and I feel better now.
Right? Like, all right, do what you got to do, babe. Like, I
Yeah.
don't.
He's like, "Dang, I don't know if I can deal with just one arm on you." Like, it's so
God,
weird, dude. This movie's so weird.
it's a rough watch.
But then what happens next? They just continue talking about like, "Yo, yeah." Eric's like, "Yo, we gotta kill your sister," and he's like, "I'm not killing my sister." And then the guy's like, "You're a coward," and he's like,
Yeah,
"Okay."
and then David's like, well, all right, will she be better if we kill her?
Yeah. But then, oh yeah, then Natalie comes back into the room with a nail gun and just starts shooting Eric in the arms, and he's like blocking himself, and they're like getting in his arm. This part was
Right?
kind of cool. Like, I don't really think you see nail guns used in many horror movies. I think I remember And like one of the Final Destinations, like that's one of the deaths, but it's never like shot at someone, like someone shooting someone else. But then they just keep running. She's shooting at him for quite some time until eventually she's like right about to shoot Eric in the face, right? And then David like tackles her.
Yes, as Eric is just getting peppered with
Yeah, he
nails.
just let it happen for quite some time. He just let Eric get shot by a bunch of nails. But like he blocks one that was going straight into his heart. Like this guy, I'm telling you, he went through a lot. He went through a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
But then finally David's like, or Eric's like, yeah, go get the shotgun before she does. And he's like, oh yeah, maybe that's a good idea. So he's going for
right.
the shotgun, and then she comes up.
Blasts off her other arm.
No, this is the part where she just starts beating his arm with the crowbar first.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, just destroy. It's so bad. That would hurt so bad. She's just going wham, and then Eric shoots the nails at her to get her attention, and then he shoots her arm off. And that
Yep.
part was like, really, rip. Now she's got no arms. And I
Right.
thought they
She's
were gonna go down the path of like, oh yeah, they're gonna cut all her limbs off.
so yeah, and then she goes back to like her normal voice and like crawls over to David as she dies in his arms.
Yeah. Oh, but I forgot Eric gets beat more by the crowbar before she gets her arm shot off. Like
Yes.
he gets
Yep.
beat in the head, his hand, like his fingers are getting knocked off.
Yep.
But yeah, then she's like, "Why does my face hurt?"
Oh.
Why does she say that you're missing both your arms and you have a few nails in your face? Like that would suck.
Right.
But I don't know. She's like, "Why does my face hurt?" And then she just dies in his arms. I guess that was kind of sad, but like at the same time, it's like, yeah. And then they go outside, right? They go outside and it's still. Is it raining still? Who knows?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, I don't think it is, but
It starts again. Like a thunderstorm starts to happen when they go outside, I guess.
yeah. But then yeah, David's like, Eric, don't die. I'm gonna finish this off. Like just because Eric's like, bro, I would rather just die now and not like be a demon.
Literally.
Just like die and like have my soul or whatever. I don't know. But then David starts getting the gasoline and he's like pouring it all in the house, which is like, yes, finally you're doing something smart.
Right.
Until he hears his sister singing the song that apparently I believe that their mom sang to them when they were younger.
Yeah.
And he's like, never mind, I can't do this. This is wrong. And I was like, nope.
Right, so he'd rather bury her alive?
Yeah.
Like,
'Cause
that sounds harder, but
that's when he was like, well, he had the idea that he could like bring her back, which I guess worked out. But
I just
why not
I
just
feel like
end
that
it?
breaks the rules, man. I feel like the demon wouldn't let that happen.
Yeah.
Like you're already in a universe where people are getting possessed and stuff. Maybe I don't know.
And it's like, what's the point of like even attempting to save her? Like, I feel like he already like, you got the gasoline there, just do it. Why is this
Right.
song change your mind? And I guess he looked at a picture too, and he's like, this is wrong. But then yeah, he's like switches up his plan. He's like, all right, I'm gonna switch this up, and then he goes and creates his own defibrillator and starts the process of burying her alive.
Well, he goes like back in there and they have like a fight. And she has like
yeah.
super strength now somehow.
Yeah, she has super strength, and he's like, "Damn, you strong." Oh wait, a lot more happens. I just skipped over like a whole part because like, yeah, they're down there, and he's like getting messed up, like thrown across the room, cut up, and then he gets thrown across the room multiple times.
Yeah.
And then doesn't Eric come down and like,
It hits her with the crowbar.
yeah, and then what even happens after that? He gets one good smack on her.
Yeah. And then Eric like dies down in the basement.
Yeah, he got stabbed again, it looks like.
Yep.
and then he dies, and then David's just like, all right, I'm gonna put you face first in the water after you died.
I know.
Was that weird to you? That felt kind of weird to me.
Yeah, like he just like drops the body,
Yeah, he's
but
just
like
like,
at the same, I guess you got shit to do.
no, that's true. But like, what if like a miracle happens and like he like comes back to life or something? But he can't
Right.
because he's just inhaling water. I don't think he was coming back to life, but he really does. He just drops him in the water. But then we finally get to see him, David, bury his sister alive because we've been waiting for it. And as it's happening, she like wakes up, right? Yeah, her eyes
Yeah.
are open, and she's like,
Yep.
David. Back in her like scared voice that's trying to act like Mia. I can't move, I can't breathe. And then he's like, that ain't you. Like, that ain't my sister. I know it's not my sister. And then Demon's like, fine.
Right.
You got me.
Busted. So yep, buries her alive. Tries to defib her, and he's like, "Nope, I guess she's dead now," and just walks away.
This is
But
so
then,
dumb.
then she gets up.
That part was so dumb. Like, why? Why not just let her come back to life when he's doing it? That would have just made sense.
Right.
I guess maybe to give you like that sense of like, is it actually her now? Is it the demon still? I guess that's the only thing I was like, wait, maybe it's still the demon because she just kind of like woke up and like was standing when he turned around. That was super odd.
Oh, yeah, she's literally just up.
But it ended up being her, which was even weirder.
Right. I definitely thought like, oh, okay, it's still the demon.
Yeah, that was weird. Because then, if not, they could have just made her come back to life when he was doing all that. Whatever.
I know.
I guess it's just I'm just nitpicking, but it's just odd that they did it that way. But then,
And then
after
like,
that,
yeah, he goes back into the cabin, and well, your miracle happens with Eric. He does come back to life, but not
He
as a
does.
human.
My miracle happened, guys. He's just a demon. What are they
Yep.
called? Like deadites or something?
I don't think they ever say anything in this
In
movie,
this one, they don't.
but yes, you're right.
It is deadites. Yeah.
So yeah, just real quick, Eric just pops him in the neck with that same box cutter.
Yeah, I was not expecting it, to be honest. I was like, damn, got him good there, Eric. Good job. I feel like the whole
Right.
time Eric kind of wanted to do that, like even when he wasn't a demon. Like
Uh,
Eric did
may-
not seem to like
maybe.
David.
Yeah.
But then what even? It's so dark at this point in the movie. I can't even see what's going on when I'm just skipping through.
He like eventually, Mia goes in there to see what's going on, sees that her brother's dying, and he's like, go save yourself, and
Oh
he
yeah.
blows up the
Gives her
cabin.
the car keys, and then yeah, David's like, all right, I'm gonna shoot this. Oh yeah, because no, Eric says he's coming, and then David shoots the gas canister. The house goes up in flames, and Mia's like, well, damn. And then there goes
Right.
my brother, and then
I am kind of curious though. Like, I guess she gets in that car. Well, okay, so like, yeah, the demon is like crawling out of the ground. It starts pouring
pouring blood.
blood, which is
So
pretty
cool.
cool. Yeah,
That's
like
such
that
a
was.
cool thing.
But I guess I don't know. In her head, she's like, okay, the river went down. Now I can drive away. She's like, I don't know if it would have gone down by then with how high the water was, but
Yeah, I don't. Not only that, but like, the demon is still gonna come after you, right?
right,
Like just because you drive, like I feel like you just gotta fight it at this point. Yeah. So she gets in the car, but then like the demon like breaks the window. She gets out of the car from the other side, and then the demon's like, "I'm gonna drop this car on you."
well, at first she tries to escape by crawling
Oh
into
yeah,
a
yeah.
tunnel, which like homegirl.
Is that first? Yeah.
Yes, because she has to find the chainsaw first, man. Right, like that's the
You're right.
that's the only thing that they kept with the original is like make sure the main character uses a chainsaw and make sure they lose their hand.
You're right. You're right. So yeah, you're right. She doesn't get her hand crushed yet, but she goes. Yeah, she crawls in the tunnel. Which was like she tried to hide in the tunnel. Like she wasn't gonna go all the way through. She was just sitting there.
Yep.
Like what do you mean? Like you really just gonna hide there? And the demon's like, I can see you. I'm Mia. And then she's like, all right, I guess I'll keep crawling. So she keeps crawling, gets to the little shack, and grabs the chain. So she picks the chainsaw over the machete. What would you do here? Would you pick the chainsaw over the machete?
I I don't think so. I
I
think I'm too much of a bitch to even get that started.
not only
like,
that, but you have
like
to the whole like you have to worry about like it yeah, you have to worry about it starting, you have to worry about if it has gas, it could it could quit working at any
right?
time. And like with all the stuff we talked about in Texas Chainsaw, like chainsaws are not that powerful. Like
No, and
in
I've
real
held
life.
one before. They're heavy, man. Like
Yeah,
I
dude, I'm I'm a skinny guy. Like I can,
yeah.
so yeah, I would probably pick the machete just because like it's more reliable in my opinion. But then she's like, oh yeah, that actually was a problem. I forgot. Like the chainsaw, yeah, it doesn't have gas in it. And she pours like, is that gas? It's blue.
Yeah, it says like gas for chainsaw like on the bottle though. So
Okay, I guess I didn't realize that like gas was chainsaw gas is blue. I
I
was,
yeah.
I mean, I
I,
assumed it was gas, but I was like, why is it blue? But then she grabs it and she's like crawling behind like a wall with it,
yeah, and that's when the demon grabs the machete.
which like maybe I don't know. I just think the machete. You should have grabbed either both. Like, why not grab both? So you don't leave the demon with a weapon.
That too.
But then yeah, so the machete starts poking through the wall and it gets her knee. That part looks so gross. It's like
Yeah,
slowly
'cause-
cutting through her knee as it gets pulled back out.
right. It doesn't like cut evenly. It's like pulling her skin and stuff. Oh,
Yeah. And then she gets cut again in the arm, I think. And she finally like breaks out.
yes, and she climbs underneath the jeep and cuts the
Yeah.
demon's legs off.
Why did she go under? Again, why did she go underneath the jeep? Was she trying to hide, or was she just like trying to like get a second to like get this chainsaw started?
Right? I don't know.
Like if she was trying to hide, that's dumb. You're dumb.
Well, like, yeah, you have to understand this thing just came from the ground. So, like, I don't think the regular, like, rules of humanity are gonna apply. Where it's like, I can't see her, I don't know where she is.
Yeah,
Like,
like you're not gonna be able to hide. You already tried hiding in the tunnel. You're like, oh,
yeah.
I got this. There's a tunnel here. She ain't gonna find it. Nah, I'm gonna hide under the car. Maybe I think she was like trying to get it started because she wasn't like being quiet. So maybe she was just trying
No.
to get a second to like get this thing started. But yes, then she cuts the demon's leg off.
And the demon gets her back by flipping the Jeep, and the Jeep lands on Mia's arm. And that part's pretty gross, too.
Yeah, it looks like when she's like trying to get her arm out and you can see that it's like being held by like a few tendons. It's like
Yeah. Oh.
it's done so well. But then she eventually I thought she was gonna cut her arm off with the chainsaw, but she couldn't reach the chainsaw.
Right, so she just rips it, dude.
Yeah, I don't think I could do that. Like even if it's life or death, I don't know if I could.
Right? Yeah, no. Like, if I get a bad headache, I'm like, dude,
That's what I'm saying.
take me out of this world.
Like the amount of pain the people in this movie go through, I've never been even close.
No, yeah.
But yeah, it looks gross. Her skin's like coming off with it, and then it's just like squirting blood out, and she's like, just staring at it. But then she gets the chainsaw, and the demon's crawling towards her, and she's like, "All right, let me start this chainsaw." This is the coolest scene in the movie, by far the coolest scene in the movie.
Yeah, when she just shoves it like in its mouth.
Yeah, right in the demon's mouth. And the demon's like, "I will feast on your soul," and then Mia's like, what does she say? Feast on this motherfucker. And just puts it right through her face. And just blood squirting everywhere.
God, I wonder how many gallons of
Oh
fake
yeah, I
blood
was
they
gonna
went
tell
through
you.
to
I
make
was
it
gonna tell you.
rain.
I have this
Okay.
information. I have this information. 70,000 gallons of fake blood in this movie. 50,000 just for the final scene alone.
I definitely believe that part.
In the
Wow.
original, there were 200 to 300 gallons used. 70,000 gallons. Like, they could have just faked all this and, like, used CG.
Damn.
But they used
That's a lot of fake blood.
70,000 of fake blood. Yeah, that's nuts. That was one of my favorite fun facts for this movie. But then yeah, the demons like cut in half and like just start sinking into the ground, which is
Yeah.
okay. I guess that's happening. And then
Right.
Mia, what does Mia even do? She just like
Starts walking
walking.
away.
Yeah, she just walks away. She grabs the necklace, right? Or was that earlier? I don't know. She has the necklace back. That was from
She.
her brother.
Yep. She grabs the necklace.
And just starts
But
walking.
like, dude, I don't know if you survive your arm
That's
being ripped off like that.
another thing I wanted to say was like if she was using drugs before, there's no way she's not gonna be using drugs the rest of her life.
Right? And like no one's gonna believe you, man. I think that would be the hardest part
Yeah, she's probably gonna be convicted
of
of murder.
yeah, like I always think about this with these movies and I know that's like such a killjoy thing, but I'm
No,
like,
I do
dude,
too.
if you're the sole survivor of stuff like this, like you might as well just not tell anyone.
That's
Like
like
I
I
uh
always think I'm like, oh, it's a happy ending. She lived, but the amount of PTSD and trauma and like she's not gonna. I guarantee, like she's either gonna die of like suicide or she's gonna be convicted of murder at this point,
yeah, or both.
or both. But yeah, she lives for this one, and they didn't do a sequel to this. There's a new one coming out this year. I don't has nothing to do with this. I think it. Do you know what the relation to the new one is? Is it like a direct sequel? Is it to like the original? Like I don't know what it is.
I have no idea either.
I'm gonna.
Oh, it's scheduled to be released straight to HBO Max, which is kind of cool though.
Oh yeah, it's 2 hours long. That's interesting. I hope it's. I don't know what it is.
In Evil Dead Rise, a road-weary Beth pays an overdue visit to her older sister Ellie, who is raising three kids on her own in a cramped LA apartment. The sisters' reunion is cut short by the discovery of a mysterious book deep in the bowels of Ellie's building,
So it's
giving
not.
rise. Yeah, no, it does not sound like it's directly connected at all.
So it sounds like it's like a brand new reboot, but it's also not. It doesn't even take place at a cabin. But to be fair, I don't think you could do a cabin again.
So the director did say that a sequel to his film was in the works. So
A
it
sequel
looks
to
like
the new one?
technically it's a sequel. And the Raimi brothers confirmed plans to write Evil Dead 4. So,
So what the?
oh, they later specified that the film would be Army of Darkness too. So, okay. Apparently we can expect that eventually too.
So is it two separate timelines, like kind of like how Child's Play is going? Like, is this new one? Is it in the same universe as the original? That's all I'm curious about.
I don't think we're going to know until
Until
this
we
movie
okay,
comes
I
out,
mean that's
man.
fine. That's
Yeah.
fine. But usually like they say because like that's pretty important information. I feel like. But whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
I'm
I
sure
would
I'll watch
agree.
it. I'm sure I'll go watch it. So, or I guess I don't have to go anywhere. I can just watch it in HBO.
Yeah, that's cool. But like there's nothing on this movie and it's supposed to come out this year. Like, okay. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Anyway, this Evil Dead, the 2013, has a 6.5 on IMDb currently, and I gave it a 7 out of 10.
I think I would also give it either a
I
6 or a
think
7.
I think a 6.5 is probably right about where it needs to be, just because there is a lot of like really like why are you doing this, but it's also like this movie's just badass. Like it's just a fun one to put on and watch people get absolutely murdered. I do stand by. I think I like it more than the original Evil Dead.
Yeah, I definitely it's a totally different tone.
And
Uh
if I had to go through all like the remakes of like horror in this time, so you have like Friday 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween was done in 2007, and then this, I feel like this one is probably it's between this and Friday 13th. That's my favorite.
I think this one still is technically like a half sequel too. Like
Is it?
it like kind of acknowledges the original Evil Dead and I'm pretty sure at the end Bruce Campbell is in it, right? Like
What?
Ash from the movies. I think it's like a post-credit scene. Maybe I'm wrong.
I looked for a post credit scene, but I didn't look that hard. I don't even know if. Let me see here. I mean, that would be interesting. I wish that they just did a sequel to this one. That would have been cool. Yeah, I'm not. Oh wait. Oh yes. It's literally not even a post credits. It's the last frame in the movie. I think it's his face.
Yep. Okay. I remembered
So
something.
yeah, he says groovy and then looks towards the camera. Why couldn't we get a sequel to this? I feel like it did well. Let me see how much money this guy made.
Right. That's the important part. How much money it makes
So the
at box
budget
office.
was 17 million. Opening weekend, it made 25 million. Gross worldwide, 97 million.
It's not bad.
I feel like that's solid. Huh.
Hollywood seems like a little afraid to do horror movies still. Like a lot comes out, so maybe I shouldn't say that. But like, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like,
Maybe they just wanted it to be a one-off, but and then at that point, why do you add Ash at the end?
right.
Either way, as a one-off, I feel like it was good. Like I enjoyed it. But yeah, 7 out of 10 from me. But yeah, oh yeah, we didn't even say when we were talking about this, it was before we started recording. The guy who directed this, right?
Yeah, he
He
wrote the story for Texas Chainsaw 2022.
which is just unbelievable. He also did. You said he did Don't Breathe. It looks like he did Don't Breathe 2, which I have not seen. Did you see Don't Breathe 2?
I did not, but I guess it makes sense for the Don't Breathe movies that he had a hand in it, as well as Jane Levy was also, at least in the first one. I don't think she's in the second one.
Yeah. He hasn't done much else writing wise though. He's done some shorts, but yeah, he's done Evil Dead, Don't Breathe, and then Don't Breathe 2, and then he wrote Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Huh. What an interesting guy. But anyway,
Right?
that's really it for the. I mean, do you have any closing statements on Evil Dead 2013?
No, I don't think so. Looking forward to whatever the new Evil Dead is, and I will probably play the Evil Dead game that comes out in May.
Yeah,
But
for sure. I'll definitely be also playing that. With that being said, I think next, when does X come out again?
X comes out this Friday, so if we can both get out and see it this weekend, I would definitely be down to do that one.
Then yeah,
On the 21st.
I would say yeah, expect X to be our next podcast, and then that's really it for this one. We'll see you guys in the next one.